Hello and welcome. Welcome to another Lunch with Lisa. I am Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. I was also featured in a documentary called The Inside Effects, How the Body Heals Itself. And if you saw that movie, one of the lines that stood out to many people in that movie was when I said, thought viruses. Thought viruses are what's happening here. And let's talk about that today because many of us have been infected with thought viruses. So, what is a thought virus? A thought virus is a pattern of thought that generates a reality that we don't like. Our thoughts become things. Literally, our thoughts generate our realities. And when we're thinking thoughts that do not belong to us, oh, what do you mean, Lisa? You can think a thought that doesn't belong to you? You're the one thinking a thought. It belongs to you if you're thinking it. Actually, no, it doesn't. So let's take a look at this. Thought viruses. We are told many pieces of information throughout our lives. And we simply believe those pieces of information. Or when we think a thought, we believe that that thought belongs to us. And we just stay trapped in that thought loop. Because a thought that doesn't belong to us is going to continue to loop through our consciousness until we clear it out. So if somebody has told you, something that's not true, but you believe that thing that they've told you, the thing that they have told you that is not true just simply plays out as a truth in your reality because you believe that it's true. This happens to all of us. There's none of us that have escaped these thought viruses. So I'm going to use a specific example from my life. And the reason I'm going to use this example is because this is one of the thought viruses that contributed to my cancer. When I found myself facing cancer, I was stressed and depressed in my life because I was having massive trouble having money. I was always on the verge of financial collapse. And a thought that kept playing around and around in the background of my consciousness was, when the money runs out, I'm going to have to kill myself because I can't afford to stay here. Now, some of you are going to right away think, what? What are you talking about? That's insane. And some others of you are going to go, oh my gosh, I had the same thing happening. The reason I know this is because I have talked to a whole bunch of people, and some of the people that I have spoken to have said, I had the same thing. It was preventing us from having money. And it was pushing us in the direction of, oh my gosh, the money's running out. The money is always running out. At the end of the month, all the rest of the money had already run out by the end of the month. And now we're back to square one. We got to try to make enough money to live for the month. And then it all runs out by the end of the month. And then we're back to right? How many of you have been experiencing this? And how many of you have just thought, oh my gosh, when the money runs out, I'm just going to have to kill myself because I can't afford to stay here. If you have had that, please comment below. I want to do a little experiment here. And let's just see how many of you that are listening to this have experienced that or something very, very similar to that. So this is literally what a thought virus is. It's a thought pattern that has been energetically implanted into the human collective consciousness. And that thought pattern plays out as our realities. Look at how many people are struggling financially on this planet. There's literally no reason we need to struggle with money other than the fact that there are thought viruses telling us that we can't have money. Money is hard work. We have to earn a living. Uh, you know, whatever that is, no matter how hard I try, I never get ahead. These are all thought viruses. These thought patterns do not belong to us. We are, right, if you go back to the words from the Bible, this, I'm not talking religion here, but humanity, humans are created in the likeness and image of God, meaning that we are creator beings. We are beings of light and love. And we actually have the power to create realities. We are each creating our reality, whether we're aware of it or not. 99% of us are not aware of our power of creation. We're not aware that we are generating our reality because that little tidbit of information has been very conveniently hidden from us. We believe that reality is what it is, and that we just have to make the best of what it is. That's another thought virus. What we create, what is right now is right now, but it's not what has to be in a future now moment. Like in 30 seconds from now, you can completely change your reality. It doesn't mean like you're gonna, if you're living in, suburban United States, in 30 seconds, you're gonna find yourself living in, Papua New Guinea or, like that's not what we talk about in changing realities, right? It's about every time we change our minds, every time we change how we think, how we perceive, every time we have an, oh, a light bulb moment, right? A little aha, oh my gosh, we start to see more clearly. So thought viruses are implanted by the darkness, right? Let's go back to just plain dark and light, right? Day and night, dark and light. When you look up in the night sky, you see the stars against the darkness, right? There's darkness and then there are the lights in the darkness. There's just dark and light. It just is, right? We're not even talking about good and evil here. We're just talking about dark and light. Okay, we are beings of light. We are also beings of love. We are also creator beings. This is the truth of who and what we are. And we can start to, when we start to experience that, because it's, I can tell you this forever and ever and ever, and until you actually start to experience this for yourself, you may not believe me that you are a creator. that you create your reality and that you have the power to recreate your reality in any way you wish. But these thought viruses have us believing that we're victims. These thought viruses have us not standing in our power. Thought viruses have us believing, BELIEVE, right? Stuff that we believe comes to pass. What we believe, we experience. We believe in cancer and disease. We believe that life is hard. We believe that we have to earn a living. We believe all kinds of things that come to pass, but they're actually not true. We believe that we have to fight for our rights, that we have to battle cancer. None of these things are actually true, but they play out as our reality. And then we go, see, that's the way it is. It's not the way it is, it's the way we're creating it to be because we believe these thought viruses. Because we look around and we see the physical manifestation of the thought viruses. So when I was believing that, I can't have money, when the money runs out, I'm going to have to off myself from the planet because I can't afford to stay here. I knew that this wasn't true. Deep down inside, like I knew that that's not right. I knew that's not how it was supposed to be. But this thing had its grips on me. Like every time I thought about money, it was like, ugh, like it felt heavy and hard and not enough. And I can't, and I don't know how. And it was a visceral, palpable feeling in my body until it wasn't. Until I started turning all of this stuff around, until I started to understand and experience my power as a creator. I started to realize I don't have to play this out. I don't have to continue to allow this. And once I started to understand what thought viruses actually are, once I started to realize that we as humanity are thinking thoughts, that we as grand beings of light, humanity is, we are beings of light. Well, when the darkness is embodied, that darkness is the opposite of light. So when we're being the truth of who we are, when we are being the creators that we are, we can just simply create the health that we desire, the wealth that we desire, the life that we desire. Like it's simple, it's normal, it's natural. But when it's not, it means that the darkness, the opposite, has snuck in. So as beings of light, we are souls. Souls are not physical. We are not physical beings. We are eternal beings, beings of pure consciousness, light, and love, taking on physical form. The essence of who we are is the soul. And that soul is divine. That soul is sacred. That soul is made of light and love. It's made of living life force energy. The soul is literally life itself. experiencing itself in all the different ways to live, to exist. Trees, animals, plants, fish, birds, all life experiencing itself in all different forms. This is who and what we are. And this earth is designed to provide everything we need. It's designed literally as a paradise. But when we believe the opposite, when the darkness starts to creep in the form of fear, doubt, guilt, shame, blame, reversal thinking, right? The darkness is the opposite of the light. So when we start thinking from the opposite of what is actually true, this becomes the thought virus. And many, many humans, all of us, in fact, have been infected with varying degrees of thought virus. If you're struggling with any area of your life, there's a thought virus at the crux of that. And we have to start to understand that we can clear these thought viruses. But until we start to step back from our own mind loops, we get lost in the looping. Like, oh my God, I'm not okay. I'm really worried. What's going to happen? Did you see what happened out there? Did you see these people? Did you hear what they said on the social media? Did you hear what they said on the news? Well, and we just get lost in our own minds. That mind has been constructed of all the different thoughts that we believe are true. And when we're thinking thoughts that are not true, those thoughts become the walls of a prison. And then we just loop around and around and around because we can't get outside those prison walls. But we can get outside of those prison walls. We can step back. We can free ourselves. But we have to see what's actually happening before we can free ourselves. Thought viruses. You have to pay your taxes. It's a thought virus. Why? To whom? Where's that money actually going? What's it actually funding? Who are the ones that create war? And where do they get that money? Right? We are grand creator beings, but we have to see that we have the ability to create. We have to see what's actually happening. Rather than looking at the physical manifestation of things, the physical manifestation is the outpicturing of our thoughts. The thoughts that we place energy on become the things in form, right? Thoughts, information. Physicalness is the form. How are you informing inside forming? How are you informing your reality? The thoughts you think are informing the molecules. The thoughts you think form your physical body. The thoughts you think about yourself. Your physical body is the outpicturing of who you think you are. Do you think that you're a victim? Do you think that you're not okay? Do you think there's not enough or that you're not enough? Your body is going to show you what you think of yourself. And when you change the way you think about your body, and when you change the way you think about yourself, your health can change. But these thought viruses, they're very insidious because we think we're thinking our own thoughts. And if the thoughts you are thinking do not feel good, they are not your thoughts. They are thoughts that have been implanted in your energy field. So, what thought viruses do you have? Take a piece of paper and start just to write, what are the thoughts that don't feel good, that keep looping around and around? What are the thoughts that are creating the prison walls? And if you never had to think any of those thoughts again, what thoughts, as a grand being of light, if you were just living your ultimate amazing dream life, what types of thoughts would you be thinking? If you had no worries, no stress, if you were just at absolute peace and just loving and appreciating life itself on this planet, what types of thoughts would you be thinking? Just notice the difference in the quality. When we can start thinking those really high quality, beautiful thoughts, the thoughts that our souls naturally think, right? The soul doesn't even think, the soul just simply knows. The soul, there's no running around, there's no hamster wheel for the soul. The soul just simply exists. It just be, right? Existence, to be, to exist. We are beings. We're here to be. We're here to be at peace and harmony with life. We're here to experience life itself. But because the darkness has reversed the flow of energy, because these thought viruses have been all pervasive around the globe, those people are the enemy. Those are the bad guys. We're the good guys. Pay attention to the good guys. Look at all those bad guys over there. Don't do this. Pay your taxes. Ask your doctor. All of these thought viruses forming the prison walls. It's time for us to free ourselves from these thought viruses. It's time for us to see that what is physically around us as our reality, what your checkbook looks like, what your relationships look like, what your health looks like, all of that stuff is the outpicturing of our consciousness. When we stop focusing on the outpicturing, we can start to tune in and we can start to notice the looping thoughts. And we can start to clear them out. We can start to recognize that they don't belong to us and that we're under no obligation to think these thoughts. And we can start clearing them out because they're just frequencies. We can start clearing out the frequencies. And when we clear out the frequencies, we think them less frequently. So, what thought viruses do you have? Let's do an experiment. Let's share in the comments below. Let's see how many people experience the same types of thoughts and the same types of realities. Because we are here to generate heaven on earth. We don't need to live in this imprisonment, in this living nightmare that we call reality. We can create far grander scenarios on this planet for ourselves. We can all thrive. We can all be healthy and wealthy and wise and happy together. It's absolutely possible. But we have to clear out the thought viruses first. So I hope this was helpful to you today. Once I started clearing out all those thought viruses, all the things that I was thinking about how hard money is, how difficult it is to be healthy, all of that changed. And if it changed for me, it can change for you too. Because all the parts of ourselves are linked together, right? Our health, our wealth, our happiness, our relationships, they're all linked together. They're not separate things. Everything affects everything else. So let's look at these thought viruses that have infected the entire planet, and let's start changing it. Let's start clearing them out of ourselves, and then we will start clearing them out for humanity. If you need assistance in this, please reach out. So I'm here. Okay, thanks for watching. You can find me at connectingyoutoyou.com. And if you found this helpful or intriguing, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, share, and comment. Let's see what viruses we have in common. And let's clear them out once and for all of humanity, so we can all thrive together. And in the meantime, create for yourselves a spectacular day, because you can. Bye for now.